yeah, when I started writing blogs about like how to make sure you get a 4 on a computer science exam or a 5, and then provided tips and tricks there, I think that was giving them more like making me sound more genuine, I would say, because I think parents started like, okay, she actually knows her stuff. My husband was saying that, like, you better put yourself out there, like, write something there so that people know that you're capable of teaching that. So
Yeah.
otherwise, people won't even know. So I was like, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Yeah, and just because you're a math tutor doesn't mean that you can't share about the other things that you're capable of tutoring as well, right? We have to first start off with just letting people know, like, hey, we exist and we
Yeah.
hear what your problems are and all of that kind of stuff. But it's amazing how just through a simple blog post like that you can let people know other sides of you. And I think the beautiful thing about this, you guys, is we no longer then have to play with those short-term strategy games like flyers, like going into Thumbtack and being on our phones and like stuck to our phone, like, okay, oh, I gotta respond right away, or playing the price shopping game. That one really stinks, right? When you can put yourself out there as an expert and people can find your content, they already know they want to move forward with you before they even have that first conversation. And isn't that awesome? You have more people saying yes to your services and less being like, so how much do you charge? Isn't the first question out of their mouth. The first thing I find people like asking me is they just tell me about their child and what they're struggling with. And it really isn't until the very end, after I've done the assessment and the sales conversation, that they even ask how much I charge. If they even ask that question, because some have already done their homework and have found the answer. And I think the hardest thing when it comes to writing is getting started.
So Suzanne suggested that you keep a tab open on your computer and you write 10 minutes every day. And I started doing that, and I found like writing has always been easy to me when I actually sit down and do it. And I found that I was able to write almost 500 words in 10 minutes. So I just started doing that 10 minutes a day.
And things like that, tips and tricks that I knew had worked with my students in the past.
And I think those stories are so powerful. It's an age-old marketing strategy is storytelling. And sharing the stories of your life, because it's way more interesting to read the story about your experiences with working with your ESL students than it is for me to read the resume portion of your bio, right? For me to be like, oh, I went to this school, I taught this many years, I've, like that kind of stuff is like boring. But when you tell me a story, I'm automatically engaged and it hooks people in. So I'm glad that you were able to really start discovering some of those stories as you were blogging, because they definitely. Did you guys notice what Anjana did right from the start? And this is a ninja trick. That is, start with the questions that people are asking you over and over and over again, because now it's going to be a time saver for you. Now, instead of you can start with your frequently asked questions on your website, right? Like you can create each of those as like a blog post. And why not? Or you have a blog post and maybe you have a shorter answer on your frequently asked questions. If you want to learn more, read this blog post, right? And now you're interlinking within your website and keeping people there longer.
Love the Google Love.
The Google Love.
I love the Google Love. Love the Google Love because it saves me time advertising in anything.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And if it wasn't for the Google Love, like a lot of us wouldn't even be here right now. So I know I wouldn't be right here right now if it wasn't for the Google Love. So it's really learning that Google language so that we can do it. So Suzanne, tell us a little bit more, like how can we get more love from Google?
Well, being consistent with really good content. You also want to have keywords. So for people who don't know what a keyword is, whatever you're typing into that Google search bar, that's a keyword. And so you want to be found for different keywords that relate to what you do and your topic. So So that is really part of getting the Google love. And then the more you are updating your website with newer blogs and putting out better content, the more Google is going to say, hey, you're a standout blogger in that field,
Yeah, and that happens over time. So Google love doesn't come right out of the gate as soon as you write your first blog post. Google is going to recognize you, put you on page 1. Nope, not going to happen. But over time, the more that you write, the more consistent that you are, the longer that people stay on your pages, the more that Google will show you love.